Digital media is drying up. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, and also a little bit of finance mixed in. We're going to talk about these digital outlets and the fact that, well, one primarily amongst them all is kind of the bellwether for, well, digital publishing. We're going to talk about one of the ones that got started early and recently went public and, well, immediately hit the skids. And of course, I'm talking about Buzzfeed. Here we go. Buzzfeed was a digital outlet that launched way back, I think, in November of 2006, so it's been around for a while. But it only recently went public in December of 2021. It did so courtesy of something called a SPAC, a Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Now, that particular vehicle is there to, well, facilitate the art of going public when maybe you aren't capable of getting the proper form of underwriting. And it works, or it has been working for a long time. 2021 was definitely the year for the Special Purpose Acquisition Company. There were dozens and dozens, and if not hundreds of these deals. In fact, probably later in the story we're going to cover, they'll tell us exactly how many. And it worked, like I said. The problem is that Buzzfeed did it at the very end of the cycle when the financial markets shifted substantially. And lots of things have changed financially, especially recently, but we won't get into those right away. So, as of just, well, let's say today, or yesterday, in the case of when this video is going to air, Buzzfeed was worth $4.26 a share. It is down 2.52% at the point in time that I checked it, which was 1:48 p.m. Eastern Standard. The problem is this is sitting on one of those, well, teeter-totters, because it's been going up and down since it released its quarterly report, which it did just over a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. In fact, from the article here from Variety's Intelligence Platform, or VIP, the title says it all. Buzzfeed struggles signal uncertain future for digital media. And that's the truth. As I said, I believe they're the bellwether here. This year hasn't been kind to stocks overall. No, it hasn't. We technically, no matter what happened on last Friday, are kind of bearish in a bear market right now. They don't want to say that, just like they don't want to use the R word, and I am saying the R word for recession. That's right, that's the terrifying word right now in financial circles, although, honestly, we're probably already there. It appears as though Buzzfeed's pain is reverberating through the rest of the digital media landscape, and I can't argue with that. Buzzfeed stock hemorrhaged 66% since shares opened at $10.95 on December 6th of 2021, and it closed out, well, a previous Monday ago at $3.69. So it's rebounded slightly this Monday, but we'll have to see where it falls over the course of the next few weeks. After the company's first quarter financial results were released Monday afternoon, again, last Monday, shares nosedived 10% in after-hours trading, and on the following Tuesday, or the next day, shares opened around a $3 per share number. I don't remember exactly, but I do know that they were substantially lower. The digital media's company's revenue grew 26% last year. That's pretty substantial, but the losses widened significantly, $45 million from $11 million in 2021. Buzzfeed saw content revenue rise, but their user engagement and their commerce revenue declined. Well, that's weird. Some say it's bad timing, and some say that the market just doesn't have an appetite for a pure play digital media company. Well, that's not entirely true. We'll get to that later, probably. Either way, things really aren't going the way CEO Jonah Peretti thought that they would. So BuzzFeed emerged as a public company after a merger with the Special Purpose Acquisition Company that I mentioned earlier. The SPAC was called 890 Fifth Avenue, and it's obviously the blank check company that made this thing go. There were 613 special purpose acquisition companies IPOs that happened in 2021. So there's the number. And in 2020, there were 248. So this has been going on for a while, pushing these digital entities or these companies, really fast tracking them into the stock market to have a quick cash in for, well, all the people involved. Again, that's my opinion. There's been a pretty serious slowdown when it comes to the special purpose acquisition company mania, but the macroeconomic environment right now is very tough, to say the least, as I mentioned before. So tough, in fact, that even a company like Google's YouTube reported a serious deceleration in revenue during their first quarter of the year. On top of all of that, you have the geopolitical risks, like the war going on across the world, etc., etc. You can see all the consolidation represented here, which would include some that even, this entity, Buzzfeed, participated in, which included, buying out its special purpose acquisition company and Complex Networks. And in the process, I think prior to that, they even acquired the HuffPost and some other junk along the way. I think they have a couple of subsidiaries, to be honest with you. And of course, all of this consolidation continues to happen. Vox Media keeps grabbing things, GO Media keeps grabbing things, and what's funny is they keep downsizing the things that they acquire. That's an entirely other video. But there's just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of money wrapped up in any or all of these things. And so much so that you are disappointing Wall Street on a regular basis. They missed their total revenue expectations by a substantial amount, and their net losses overall during the last quarter was 294%. Let me say that again. Net losses increased by 294%, $44.6 million in Q1 of 2022. So as these things rolled in, and as the commerce declined 27% year over year, this doesn't look like it's going to survive very well. Let's just put it in those terms. And look, I'm not the only one saying it. You can go and check out the stock shill service, The Motley Fool, who will give you 5 reasons that Buzzfeed stock is hitting new lows on Tuesday. Well, look at them. It says that you won't believe reason number 4. Well, actually, you will. I mean, obviously. Obviously, they missed their numbers. A miss is never a good look. Revenue rose by 26% year over year what does it say? 91.6 million. But analysts had been holding out for 94.5 million, so they missed. Talk about the quadruple losses of 44.6 million, et cetera, et cetera. They say that red ink translated into a loss per share of 33 cents. That's not a win by any stretch of the imagination. And of course, they mention the fact that the special purpose acquisition corporations have been losing their luster and the market has grown skeptical. And that's 100% true. That kind of speculation, I think, is going to fall by the wayside, and there will be a different entity that'll rise to take companies public in the future. Maybe traditional underwriting, who knows. But commerce revenue is very disappointing. That's their third thing that they're focusing on here. Even with the ad revenue growing, it's staying way down. It's going down 27%. That's significant. It's been adding leaks to its editorial shopping content so that it could generate affiliate commissions when viewers buy those products, and that obviously makes sense, but aren't they supposed to be a social media influencer? I mean, that was the whole purpose of BuzzFeed to begin with, all the way back in 2006, was to follow or utilize an algorithm to identify viral trends and then bring them to the forefront for everybody to consume. I mean, that was their whole point originally, but hey, set that aside. They decided to dive into being a news organization. And let me tell you, investors want them to get out of that business. In fact, they wanted them to do that last quarter. They didn't listen. And nobody believes that they are a news entity. Let's just be honest. BuzzFeed News is incredibly slanted one particular way. And, Pew Research found that all the way back in 2014. And you also have, a lot of people that don't consider them a serious news outlet. Well, actually, the majority of people. And again, I refer you to the Pew survey done all the way back in 2014. But BuzzFeed's popularity overall, number 4, is fading. And that's a problematic nugget from the prospectus for BuzzFeed, at least according to the folks over at the Motley Fool. Essentially, the people consuming BuzzFeed's content increased at a much slower rate last year. In fact, it was essentially just about a 10% increase through the first 9 months of 2021. And things have, of course, been getting worse since that point in time. Time spent on Buzzfeed through its operated properties, as well as third-party platforms, declined by 4% through the first 3 months of this year. That's insane, at least when you compare it against 2021. This is not a positive direction for this entity, and I don't anticipate that in any way they're going to be progressing forward. Again, when we look at the number here, $4.26, you have to remember this thing opened like less than a year ago with an IPO that put it, well, where was it? 52-week high? $14.77 at the highest. So it's down over $10 a share from its highest point. I don't think it's going to come back, and I think it is the harbinger of doom for the other digital entities that are out there. I'd say Fox is having a significant slide, Vice, all of these other entities, especially Geo Media, where you're seeing dramatic cutbacks in staffing. You're seeing a significant change in the culture in order to try to survive, and you're seeing, you know, the slow decline of any of the influence that these companies have, because much like the mainstream, which people are already shunning, none of these outlets, which are particularly slanted, are resonating with anybody who's paying attention, because you can look at what you can see with your own eyes and compare it what you're being presented with one of these entities and realize that, well, they're putting a thin veneer on the lies that they're telling you. Anyway, I don't know what you think. I don't know if you care, but what do you think? Do you think that these digital entities are here to stay? Do you think that we are going to see a rise in different digital entities to replace these that are failing? Do you think something like Buzzfeed was a good investment to begin with? I never would have given them $1, but that's just me. Anyway, please feel free to use the content section down below, and we'll hopefully have a conversation. YouTube recently hasn't been giving me a whole lot of engagement, so the more comments that I get, the more likes, the more shares, all that stuff, that's really going to help out. And I would encourage you to do that with other independent creators here on the platform as well. They absolutely deserve it, because they are working hard for you to bring you news in a different way than you're going to get from the mainstream, which is, again, one of my motivating factors as well. And with that being said, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.